Sanchez Bezos stepped into the light of the Caring Foundation dinner, and all eyes turned toward her. Not because she was the wife of one of the wealthiest men on the planet, not because of the gold gown that hugged her silhouette in a way that demanded attention, but because around her neck sat a diamond necklace so massive, so commanding that it seemed less like jewelry and more like a statement carved into history. The piece, designed by Summer Hale, carried an estimated value of $3 million. And yet, the true weight of the necklace was not in its price tag. It was in its symbolism, its message, and its place in the unspoken competition of Hollywood glamour and billionaire power. The necklace was no ordinary ornament. It was a 55-carat diamond creation crafted with precision, designed to catch light from every angle and reflect it back tenfold. It was the type of necklace that could silence a room and remind everyone present that the woman wearing it occupied a rarefied space. A space where fashion, wealth, scandal, and influence all collided. The diamonds were set in a pattern that seemed to dance with each movement, creating a hypnotic display that drew the eye and held it captive. Each stone had been carefully selected for its clarity, its cut, its ability to capture and amplify light in ways that made the entire piece seem almost alive. The creation process itself had taken months. Summer Hale's workshop had become a temple of perfectionism, where each diamond was examined under magnification, where settings were adjusted and readjusted until they achieved the exact balance of security and brilliance. The central stone alone had required weeks of consideration as Hale searched for a diamond that would serve as the perfect centerpiece for this monument to luxury. When he finally found it, a flawless oval cut that seemed to contain entire galaxies within its facets, he knew he had discovered something extraordinary. The technical specifications of the necklace read like a manifesto of excess. The central diamond, a D-flawless stone weighing 18 carats, had been sourced from the Cullinan mine in South Africa, the same source that had produced some of the crown jewels. Surrounding this centerpiece were layers of smaller diamonds, each one perfectly matched for color and clarity, creating a cascade of brilliance that seemed to flow like liquid light. The setting itself was a masterwork of engineering, designed to be both secure and flexible, allowing the necklace to move naturally with the wearer's body while maintaining its structural integrity. The precious metals used in the construction had been selected with equal care. The primary setting was crafted from 18-carat white gold, chosen for its ability to enhance the brilliance of the diamonds without competing for attention. Subtle accents of yellow gold had been incorporated into the design, creating depth and complexity that revealed itself only upon close inspection. The clasp mechanism was a work of art in itself, featuring a magnetic closure system that was both secure and elegant, eliminating the need for visible hardware that might detract from the overall aesthetic. The workshop where this masterpiece had been created was itself a testament to the rarefied world of ultra-luxury craftsmanship. Located in a nondescript building in Beverly Hills, Hale's atelier occupied an entire floor, with specialized rooms for different aspects of the jewelry-making process. The diamond selection room featured climate-controlled storage and specialized lighting systems that allowed for the most precise evaluation of each stone. The setting workshop contained tools and equipment that represented centuries of jewelry-making tradition, combined with cutting-edge technology that enabled levels of precision previously impossible. The team that worked on Lauren's necklace included master craftsmen who had spent decades perfecting their skills. The head setter, a third-generation jeweler from Italy, had personally positioned each of the smaller diamonds surrounding the centerpiece. The polisher, whose family had been in the business for over 100 years, had spent weeks ensuring that every surface of the necklace achieved the perfect level of brilliance. Even the quality control process had involved multiple experts, each one examining the piece from their area of specialization to ensure that it met Hale's exacting standards. The provenance of the diamonds themselves told a story of global luxury and exclusivity. The central stone had been cut from a rough diamond that had been discovered in the Cullinan mine nearly 2 years earlier. After extraction, it had spent months being evaluated by De Beers' most experienced gemologists before being sold at auction to a private dealer. Hale had acquired it through a network of contacts that included some of the world's most exclusive diamond traders, paying a premium that reflected not just its exceptional quality, but also its perfect suitability for this particular project. The comparisons were immediate and unavoidable. Kim Kardashian had worn something strikingly similar years earlier in Paris. Her piece, also designed by Sam Halmer, carried its own story, a story linked to one of the most infamous robberies in celebrity history. And when Sanchez Bezos walked into that dinner in New York, she was not just wearing diamonds, she was stepping into that legacy. The weight of that history seemed to settle around her shoulders like an invisible cloak, adding layers of meaning to what might otherwise have been simply a beautiful accessory. Her necklace seemed to feature a larger center stone than the Kardashian version, and though to the casual eye it may have looked like a subtle distinction, in the circles of fashion and wealth, such differences are everything. One more carat, one more glimmer, one more breathless headline. It becomes a competition not openly declared, yet deeply felt. And in this space, where public image is everything, Lauren Sanchez Bezos was making her move. She understood that in the world of high society, size matters, but so does timing, placement, and the story behind each piece. The psychology of luxury jewelry runs deeper than mere decoration. These pieces serve as totems of achievement, markers of arrival, and shields against vulnerability. When a woman like Lauren Sanchez Bezos chooses to wear a necklace worth more than most people's homes, she is making a statement that transcends fashion. She is declaring her place in a hierarchy that few will ever understand, let alone occupy. The weight of the necklace around her neck was not just physical, it was metaphysical, carrying with it the accumulated power of wealth, influence, and social position. The cultural anthropology of extreme luxury reveals fascinating patterns of behavior among the ultra-wealthy. These individuals do not simply purchase expensive items, they engage in elaborate rituals of acquisition, display, and social positioning. The necklace Lauren wore that evening was not just a beautiful object, but a complex symbol that communicated multiple messages simultaneously. To fellow members of the billionaire class, it signaled her legitimate membership in their exclusive circle. To the media and general public, it demonstrated her transformation from working professional to global icon. To potential rivals and competitors, it served as a warning that she was not to be underestimated. The sociology of billionaire society operates according to rules that are largely invisible to outsiders. Status is not simply about money, though vast wealth is certainly a prerequisite. It is about access, influence, and the ability to shape cultural narratives. The jewelry worn by women in these circles serves as a complex form of communication, conveying information about alliances, rivalries, and social hierarchies. Lauren's choice to wear such a significant piece was her way of announcing that she understood these rules and was prepared to play by them. The historical context of statement jewelry among powerful women provides additional layers of meaning to Lauren's appearance. From Cleopatra's emeralds to Elizabeth Taylor's diamonds, women throughout history have used jewelry to assert their power and status. In more recent times, figures like Jackie Kennedy and Princess Diana had mastered the art of using jewelry to communicate complex messages about their roles and aspirations. Lauren was following in this tradition, using her necklace to declare her place in the pantheon of influential women. The insurance valuation alone had required months of negotiation. Lloyd's of London had assigned a team of specialists to assess not just the monetary value of the piece, but the security risks associated with its public display. The premium for a single evening's wear exceeded what most families spend on their annual housing costs. Private security firms had been contracted to provide invisible protection, with teams positioned throughout the venue and surrounding blocks. Electronic tracking devices had been seamlessly integrated into the necklace's design, ensuring that its location could be monitored at all times. The security protocols developed for the evening reflected the heightened awareness of jewelry-related crimes that had emerged following the Kardashian robbery. The security firm employed by Lauren specialized in protecting high-value assets at public events, with experience providing protection for everything from museum exhibitions to royal appearances. Their team included former military personnel, electronic surveillance experts, and behavioral analysts who could identify potential threats in crowds. The electronic tracking system embedded in the necklace represented the latest in luxury security technology. Microscopic GPS transmitters had been integrated into the setting in ways that were completely invisible to observers. The system could track the necklace's location to within inches and was connected to a command center that monitored its status throughout the evening. Additional sensors could detect if the necklace was removed or if its clasp was tampered with, triggering immediate alerts to the security team. And yet, the necklace was not alone on her body. It was paired with her wedding ring, an oval-cut diamond estimated at $4 million. Together, they formed a showcase of luxury, a duet of brilliance that seemed almost designed to remind the world of her new role as Jeff Bezos' partner and as a rising figure in the global social scene. This was not just jewelry, this was armor. It was identity. It was narrative, woven into stones. The combination spoke to both her personal commitment and her public position, creating a visual language that needed no translation. The ring itself had its own story. Custom designed to reflect both her personality and her new status, it represented more than a romantic gesture. It was a symbol of entry into one of the most exclusive clubs in the world, the wives and partners of tech billionaires. The ring's design incorporated elements that spoke to her aviation background, with subtle wing-like flourishes in the setting that only the most observant viewers would notice. These personal touches elevated the piece beyond mere ostentation, making it a true reflection of the woman wearing it. The engagement ring's creation had been shrouded in secrecy for months before its public debut. Bezos had worked directly with Hale to ensure that every detail would be perfect, understanding that this piece would be scrutinized and analyzed by millions of people around the world. The selection of the central stone had taken nearly 6 months, as Hale searched through inventories from the world's most prestigious diamond dealers to find a stone that would meet Bezos' exacting standards. When they finally settled on the oval-cut diamond, it required additional months of work to create the perfect setting that would showcase its beauty while incorporating the personal elements that made it uniquely Lauren's. The symbolism of wearing both pieces together was not lost on the evening's observers. The combination created a visual narrative that spoke to both permanence and power. The engagement ring represented her personal bond with one of the world's most influential men, while the necklace declared her individual status as a force to be reckoned with. Together, they created a message that was both romantic and strategic, personal and political. The interplay between the two pieces had been carefully considered during the design process. Hale had worked to ensure that they would complement each other when worn together, creating a harmonious ensemble that enhanced the beauty of both pieces. The metals had been matched, the diamond cuts coordinated, and the overall proportions balanced to create a unified look that would photograph beautifully and make a powerful statement in person. The gown she chose for the evening, a strapless gold creation by Schiaparelli, was the perfect frame. It drew the eye to her shoulders, her neckline, and ultimately to the glittering necklace at its center. The fabric seemed to have been chosen specifically to complement the warm tones of the diamonds, creating a harmony between clothing and jewelry that elevated both elements. Jimmy Choo heels completed the look, understated in comparison, but essential to the complete composition of power, wealth, and elegance. The entire ensemble had been carefully orchestrated to create maximum impact while maintaining an air of effortless sophistication. The collaboration between Lauren and her styling team had been weeks in the making. Multiple fittings had been required to ensure that the dress would showcase the necklace to its best advantage. The neckline had been adjusted several times, lowered just enough to provide the perfect frame for the diamonds without appearing vulgar. The color had been chosen after considering dozens of options, settling on a shade of gold that would complement rather than compete with the jewelry. Even the length of the dress had been calculated to ensure that photographers would capture the full impact of her appearance from every angle. The Schiaparelli atelier had worked around the clock to create the perfect garment for this crucial appearance. The house's creative director had personally overseen the project, understanding the significance of dressing a woman at such a pivotal moment in her public transformation. The dress had been constructed using techniques that dated back to the house's founding, with hand-sewn seams and couture-level finishing that would be invisible to cameras but essential to the garment's perfect fit and drape. The choice of Schiaparelli itself was deeply significant. The house, founded by Elsa Schiaparelli in the 1930s, had built its reputation on creating clothing that blurred the lines between fashion and art. Schiaparelli's surrealist influences and avant-garde aesthetic made it the perfect choice for a woman who was herself navigating the surreal landscape of billionaire society. The brand's history of dressing powerful, unconventional women provided the perfect pedigree for Lauren's own transformation narrative. The creative process behind the dress had involved multiple iterations and countless hours of work. The initial sketches had been reviewed and revised dozens of times, with input from Lauren, her styling team, and the Schiaparelli design team. The fabric selection alone had taken weeks, as samples were tested under various lighting conditions to ensure that the final choice would photograph perfectly and complement the jewelry. The construction process had required the skills of the house's most experienced seamstresses, who had worked with painstaking attention to detail to create a garment that was both beautiful and functional. The accessories had been selected with equal care. The Jimmy Choo heels, while relatively understated compared to the jewelry, represented the perfect balance of elegance and practicality. The shoes needed to be beautiful enough to complement the overall look, while comfortable enough to allow Lauren to move gracefully through the evening's events. The specific style had been chosen after extensive consultation with the styling team, who understood that even the smallest details would be scrutinized by fashion critics and social media commentators. Every angle, every step, every flash of the cameras was a calculated visual, and the message was clear. This dinner was more than an event. It was a stage. And Sanchez Bezos was stepping onto it with the confidence of someone who knew that every detail of her appearance would be dissected across social media, discussed in tabloids, and whispered about in private dinners across Manhattan. She moved through the room with the poise of someone who had learned to navigate the treacherous waters of public scrutiny, her every gesture contributing to the larger performance. The art of celebrity appearance has evolved into a sophisticated science. Teams of stylists, jewelry consultants, and image makers work together to create moments that will generate maximum impact. Lauren's team understood that this particular evening represented a crucial moment in her transformation from journalist to global icon. Every element had been considered. The timing of her arrival, the route she would take through the venue, even the expressions she would wear as photographers captured her image. Nothing was left to chance. The evening's choreography had been planned with military precision. Lauren's arrival time had been calculated to maximize media coverage while avoiding conflicts with other high-profile attendees. Her entrance route had been mapped to ensure optimal lighting for photographs, taking advantage of the venue's architectural features to create the most flattering backdrop. Even her interaction with other guests had been strategically planned, with key photo opportunities identified in advance to ensure that the evening would generate the desired headlines and social media buzz. The security arrangements for the evening were equally elaborate. A team of former Secret Service agents provided close protection, while additional security personnel monitored entry points and potential escape routes. Electronic surveillance systems had been temporarily upgraded throughout the venue, and communication protocols had been established with local law enforcement. The level of protection rivaled that provided to heads of state, reflecting both the value of the jewelry being worn and the high-profile nature of the attendees. New York Fashion Week had brought the global spotlight to the city, and she was determined to be seen. Earlier that week, she had attended a private Chanel dinner at the Doubles Club, a gathering marking the release of Chanel Haute Couture, a book edited by Sofia Coppola. There she had already made her mark. But it was the Caring Foundation dinner that amplified her presence and set the tone for what was quickly becoming a week-long parade of carefully orchestrated appearances. Each event built upon the last, creating a crescendo of visibility that would culminate in her full transformation from respected professional to global icon. The strategic nature of her Fashion Week campaign was evident to industry insiders. Rather than attempting to dominate every event, she had carefully selected appearances that would build upon each other, creating a narrative arc that would capture the attention of both fashion media and mainstream outlets. The Chanel dinner established her credentials with fashion insiders, while the Caring Foundation event provided the glamour shots that would dominate social media and celebrity magazines. Each appearance served a specific purpose in the larger strategy of image construction.